please subscribe to my channel. The evening of Sarah's company party wasn't about me. It was about her. She had been looking forward to it for weeks. It was a major opportunity to connect with colleagues and senior executives at her marketing firm. My role was simple: be the supportive husband by her side, not the center of attention. I slipped into a well-fitted suit, carried myself with quiet confidence, and prepared to let her enjoy the spotlight. As we stepped into the venue, music blended with laughter and conversations that filled the room. Sarah lit up as she greeted familiar faces, introducing me to coworkers here and there. Most people welcomed me with polite handshakes and casual conversation, exactly what I expected. Then Daniel appeared, tall, self-assured, and wearing the smug half-smile of someone who believed the room revolved around him. He shook my hand with a grip that seemed to say more than words ever could, just firm enough to make it feel like a challenge. "So, you're Sarah's husband?" he asked, as though I'd somehow wandered into a place where I didn't belong. I kept my expression calm. "That's right." His eyes slowly scanned me before a smirk spread across his face. "Must be nice not having to worry about the daily grind while your wife's out here climbing the corporate ladder." The remark was subtle, but the arrogance behind it was impossible to miss. I felt Sarah tense beside me. I didn't react. People like Daniel fed off reactions, and I had no intention of giving him one. But Daniel wasn't the kind of man who stopped when ignored. Over the next 30 minutes, his comments became sharper. He joked that I must have married above my league. He hinted that Sarah deserved someone more ambitious. He suggested I probably couldn't understand what it took to survive in such a competitive environment. Each comment carried just enough bite to make the people around us noticeably uncomfortable. They laughed politely, but everyone could tell exactly what he was trying to do. Sarah kept trying to steer the conversations in different directions, but Daniel always managed to circle back, determined to provoke me. Finally, with another drink in his hand and far too much alcohol loosening his tongue, he leaned closer and delivered the line he'd been building toward. "In places like this, it's survival of the fittest. Not everyone can keep up. Some people are just meant to fade into the background." As he spoke, he glanced towards Sarah, almost as if he wanted to see where her loyalty truly belonged. That was his mistake. I calmly set my drink down and looked him straight in the eyes. My voice remained steady. "You're right, Daniel. Not everyone can handle a competitive environment." I paused for just a moment, but here's the thing. I've spent the last 10 years succeeding in one that makes this place look like child's play. His head tilted slightly, skepticism replacing his confidence. "Oh yeah?" he asked. "Doing what?" A small, controlled smile crossed my face. "Special forces. I spent a decade serving on multiple overseas deployments. After that, I moved into private security consulting for high-profile clients. My work was never about office politics or corporate games. It was about staying one step ahead of people whose full-time job was to eliminate me. So, forgive me if your version of competition doesn't impress me very much." For the first time all evening, Daniel's confidence cracked. The color slowly faded from his face as silence settled over the group surrounding us. A few nervous laughs broke the tension, but Daniel had already lost the moment. He muttered something about only joking before quickly looking away, suddenly far more interested in his drink than in continuing the conversation. Beneath the table, Sarah gently squeezed my hand. I could feel the gratitude in that simple gesture. I had stayed composed until the moment truly mattered, and now everything had shifted. For the rest of the evening, Daniel kept his distance. Whenever our paths crossed, the swagger in his voice was gone. If anything, he spoke with careful politeness, almost with respect. The people who had witnessed the exchange became curious about me, asking questions about my work and the places I'd traveled. I answered politely, but kept my responses brief. This wasn't my moment. I hadn't spoken to impress anyone. I had simply reminded one man that appearances can be deceiving. Later, as we walked back to the car, Sarah laughed softly. "You didn't have to tell him everything," she teased. I smiled at her. "I didn't. I only told him enough." As we drove home, I couldn't help thinking about how quickly people judge others based on appearances alone. Daniel looked at me and assumed I was ordinary, someone he could mock without consequences. What he never understood was that the most capable people rarely feel the need to advertise who they are. They simply don't have to. And that night, I was perfectly satisfied letting him learn that lesson for himself. After that evening, whenever I attended one of Sarah's work events, Daniel's behavior was almost amusing. He was overly polite, noticeably careful, and always kept a respectful distance, as though he still wasn't entirely sure how much I knew or what I was capable of. I never held a grudge against him, But I have little doubt he never forgot the night he realized he had seriously underestimated me.